Hi everyone, welcome back to another exciting video. In today's video, we will be making a simple tank game using MIT Scratch. So without any delay, let's get started. To start this game, we need tanks. Let's find something on Google. So I'm typing tank top view 2D. Let's go to images. Let's pick a cool looking tank. This tank looks nice with a good machine gun in front. I'm going to right click, copy the image, open the website, remove PG. I'm going to paste it here. Let's wait for the background to be removed. Done. Let's download this. And I'm going to upload it in Scratch now. Okay, great. This is my tank. Let's start with the movement code. For this, I'm picking my green flag and an if block, which is under the control section, this one. Then I will go to sensing and pick up my left key pressed. So when green flag clicked, if left key arrow is pressed, I want this tank to turn a little. I will go to the motion for that and I'm picking turn. And if you see, there's a pointing arrow towards the left hand side. I'm going to pick this. Now let's enclose this logic in forever. Let's see. If I press the left, it turns very quickly. I'm going to reduce the number of degrees. I think 5 degrees is good enough. I'm going to right click, duplicate this and do the same thing with the right arrow, but make sure you swap out your motion block. And again, same 5 degrees. This looks good. So you can adjust the amount of degrees you want to turn. Now let's build the up arrow and down arrow code. For this, again, I'm going to duplicate this, but this time when I press the up arrow, I only want my character to go forward. I will be picking move 10 steps. For the down arrow, the logic will be reversed and I will move minus 10 steps to make the character come back. And let's reduce the size of the character. I'm going to keep it around 50 or 60. Let's see how 50 is. Yeah, this looks good. Now let's see. I'm going to click on the green flag again, left arrow, right arrow. So now if you see, if I press the up arrow, my tank starts to go towards the right hand side. That's because even though in the image, the tank is facing forwards, but when you click on the direction is kind of pointing towards 90 degrees. So if I say 90 degree, this is on the right hand side, this arrow is pointing towards the right hand side, whereas our tank is pointing in the front. So we need to synchronize this, for which I'm inside the costumes. I'm going to select this costume, rotate it, and make sure this is aligned with 90 degrees. This looks good. So this is like 90 degrees. The tank is pointing in the correct direction. Now let's test the code again. I'm pressing the left arrow, the tank turns. I press forward, it goes in front. It can even take a right turn. I can even reverse the tank. And yeah, it works. Just like we picked the player, now we have to pick the enemy tank. I'm going to pick a red color. Let's see, this image looks good. And there are multiple tanks. So I'm going to copy the image, paste it here, done. I'm going to download this and again upload it in my Scratch. Don't worry, we don't have to use all 4 tanks. What we are going to do is we will go to costumes. This one looks good. I'm going to select this, copy, make a new sprite, paste it here. And I'm going to change the alignment. Again, this is saying 90 degrees, so I'll make sure my tank also points there. Make sure you adjust this plus and it's center aligned. Done. And now you can hide this sprite, which has multiple tanks in it. Don't delete it. It might come handy later on. This is my tank and the size looks perfect as it's smaller than the main player. We can keep multiple enemies which are coming towards us and we can shoot at them. Let's start building the enemy logic. For this, I'm again picking my green flag. I want this logic to work forever. And what I want is that this enemy to chase my player, for which I will pick point towards. It's going to point towards player. So let's change the name. I'm going to call it player. And over here we can select point towards player and it's going to take small steps. Don't keep a big number over here, otherwise it's going to look like this. It'll instantly catch you and you can't escape this. I'm going to keep 5 steps, or like let's just keep 3 steps. I want this enemy tank to spawn randomly, for which I will pick go to random position and I will keep it above the forever block. It's slowly coming towards me. For now, all I can do is just try to run away. But again, that's not a good thing. We have to figure out some way to shoot back. So let's start building the shoot code. Again, let's go to Google. So our tank has this some sort of machine gun in front of it. So I'm going to put some, so I'm going to search for some animated bullets. Animated bullets PNG. I will be picking this. This is a little realistic as well. Copy the image. Again, remove the background. Download. Upload it in Scratch. Done. And let's name it bullet. Now what I want is that whenever I press the space bar, I want this bullet to come out of the main player tank. For now, I'm just going to hide the enemy so it doesn't come in the way. Let's reduce the size of the bullet. Let's keep it around 30. Next, let's pick up the green flag. Whenever I press the space bar, I want this to release from the tank. So if key space is pressed, go to player, and it will start taking few steps from there. So I will be just keeping move 10 steps, and let's add a forever block on top of it just to test this much. Obviously move 10 steps is not enough, but this is just for testing. I press the space bar and the bullet doesn't even move a little, for which I'm going to add a repeat block. Let's type repeat 30. That will increase our firing range, and it's working. So if I move my tank somewhere else, it'll start launching from the position of the tank. But there's one problem. The bullet is only going towards the right hand side. What I want is that it should follow where my tank is facing, for which I will go to the player again and make a new variable called direction. Let's name it tank direction. Let's click on go. I will be storing my player's direction in this tank direction variable, for which I will pick up set tank direction. Let's go to the motion and let's store tank direction in this. And obviously I want this thing to work all the time. So let's add a forever and a green flag on top of it. Now if you see, it shows 10. The moment I turn my tank, it's synchronizing the distance. Now I can reuse the same variable in the bullet. So I will say that go to player and then point in direction, and in place of this 90, I'm going to place tank direction in it. So wherever my tank is pointing, the bullet will go there. So if my tank points towards the right, bullet will go there. If it's on the left, the bullet will go on the left hand side. Now one problem that the bullet kind of stays there. So for which, when the game starts, I'm going to hide the bullet. When it's done shooting, then also I will hide the bullet. But when I start shooting again, when I press the space bar, then I want it to be visible. First it will go to the player, then it will plan out its direction, and then it will come up on the screen. Looks good. It's hiding and it has a good range. If you want, you can reduce the bullet size even further. I think this looks good. Now we have to build the code that whenever the enemy gets touched by the bullet, the enemy disappears. For which I will be keeping a simple forever if logic. Forever if the enemy touches the bullet, it will hide. So let's say it will hide for seconds. Then I want it to show. Again, pick up a random position. Go to random position. And start chasing the player again. Let's see how this looks. Let's click on the green flag. It's coming towards me. Shoot. Done. Oh, it's about to catch me. So the tank turn takes a long time, for which again I'm going to just increase the turn. Now I feel this is less. Let's go back to 10. Yeah, this is a lot faster now. Let's increase the speed of the bullet. So it should take 15 steps, and let's keep the repeat to 20. Okay, before the enemy catches you, press the space, shoot. Again, before it catches you, rotate, shoot. Now let's fix this glitch that when the enemy comes on top of the player, it moves like this. So let's add a simple code. Let's make a variable called player health. When the game starts, the player health is 5. Let's give 5 chances to the player. Whenever the tank touches the player, so if touching player, reduce the player health by -1, change health by -1, and let's add a forever code on top of it. Now the reason I'm adding the player's code on the enemy because whenever the enemy touches the player, I want it to hide and restart this position. So let's pick the code. It's going to hide, wait for 3 seconds, and start attacking again. So this way it won't glitch. Here it comes again. This time I'm going to let it attack me. Okay, my health reduced. It's at 4 now. 3. This time I'm going to shoot. Okay, great. Now let's add a logic that if the player health goes below 1, then the game should stop. So when green flag clicked, forever. If, let's go to variables, player health, and I'm going to pick a new operator. So if the player health is lesser than 1, there's a block in the control section, stop all. So let's see. Let's add one more code that whenever the game restarts, the enemy shows. This time I'm going to let the enemy reduce all the health that I have. Okay, it's spawning near me. Okay, 2, 1, 0. Okay, and the game stops. So if you press any key, it will not work now. Now let's also add some winning conditions in our game, for which I will be making a new variable called score. And let's initialize it that when the game starts, when green flag is clicked, set score to 0. You can put it under any green flag. I will put it under this. Now whenever the enemy touches the bullet, the score will be increased by 1, for which I will be adding the block right here before it hides, change score by 1. Let's see. So I'm going to click on the green flag. Let's test it. I'm going to shoot the enemy. Okay, so the score increases by 1. Done. So the score is at 2. I will be building another logic that if the score is greater than 9, that means if it's 10, then you win the game. So when green flag is clicked, again, let's go to the variables. Let's pick up a score block, and from operators, we're going to compare it. So score is greater than 9. If score is greater than 9, let's play a winning sound. So I'll go to sounds, click on the bottom left. Let's pick a U win sound. Let's hear this one. I will be picking play sound win until done. And after that, the game stops. If you want to continue and add more enemies, it's totally up to you. For example, now the code is completely ready. I just have to right click on this, duplicate, and have, let's say, 2 enemies. Now the same logic will work on 2 enemies. I will recommend you to reduce the size of the tanks if you're going to keep multiple enemies. Otherwise, this is going to take a lot of space. I'm going to reduce my player size to 30, and let's do the same for the enemies. Let's keep them around 60. Let's try the game again. So I killed both of them with 1 bullet. again. Let's try to chase them. I want to kill both of them with one bullet. I'm going to align it. A perfect kill. Now let's make the game a little better looking. Let's add a good background. Let's type top view green fields animated. So this one looks good. Just make sure you pick something with a higher resolution. This is full HD, so this will look nice in the game. So no need to remove the background. Straight up save it into your downloads and upload it as a background in Scratch. Let's adjust the dimensions. I'm going to select this, stretch it a little so it takes up the full screen. A little more. Let's move it and then let's try to stretch it from here. Done. Now let's try again. And this looks good. So don't forget to save your game, otherwise all your hard work will be lost. So click on the file, click on save to your computer and make sure you download this. Once you do this, then by all means enjoy your game. Click on the full screen button and let's tune into this. So I hope you enjoyed. That's all for now. Please stay tuned and subscribe to my channel. Thank you for watching.